here in Montreal, the land of my ancestors, and we're still here, and we have other nations living with us too, and we want all women and young girls to know that there's someone out there that they can reach out to, that there are places that they can go when they don't feel safe, or they want to share and they don't want to be judged. But as Nekaset said, Nekaset, you're brilliant, and things are coming to Montreal, but they're going to echo across this country, I have no doubt today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cheryl, for sharing. We'd like to invite up our last speaker for the first part of the march, and then we'll start the march after. Ellen Gabriel.
Segawit Converatus. Kachitsagos na yujat stanoginaku. Wakat Converatus na nusguetes utano katsatsta sa oyera. Kachwat Converatus sagwako katawanera. Tano wat Converatus nyoko sa del yan hoto sa daranias naki sa unserada si adatawatas iskanya guanigura. I want to thank you all for coming here, and to Cheryl. I didn't get a chance to see you, but now for you, there you are. Now for your words. It's so good to see you now to come out and talk strongly and proudly for your sister and your family. 10 years ago, a young man started these vigils, or Belkars. I want to acknowledge him. He's somewhere in the crowd, and he'll be speaking later on. So he started these vigils. There was 20 people. There's 20 of us at a candlelight vigil. So it's really heartening to see how many people have come. And to Missing Justice for continuing this organization, and for all the people that you don't see behind the scenes, all the Indigenous women who have been working so hard to protect our families, and the men who stand beside us. This is not a new issue. It's not going to go away as long as colonization continues, as long as there are people like Stephen Harper, Jean Chrétien, Paul Martin, all those guys. They contributed to this problem because it's all been about a land grab. And it's all about denying Indigenous people what everybody else gets, which is respect for your rights, which is justice, which is freedom. Indigenous people have only wanted a peaceful coexistence. We've only wanted to be your allies, your friends, and to have our rights respected. And it's not been respected. And so the next party, whoever gets in, and those two others have had their chance, but whoever gets in, we need to push, not just for the inquiry, which is also important, but the root causes, the resource and industrialization of this society that legitimizes land theft and marginalizes and targets the most vulnerable groups in our society, which are children and women. And then feminists need to understand that while we stand beside you as your sisters, our situation is a little bit different, because we have a history of colonization and oppression in this country, in this continent, in this side of Turtle Island, that is not going away. It's not just about being a woman. It's about being an Indigenous person, an Indigenous human being. And how long do we have to ask you to get educated so that you understand what is going on in your country? How long do we have to ask for justice and freedom? It's enough now. And those of you who are here are evidence of that you want justice for the people on whose land your houses, your children go to school in, your institutions are on. We need more than just an inquiry. We need to get people educated that violence is not acceptable. We need that in our homes. We need to teach our children. We need to teach that to judges, to the police. And it's a reality that doesn't seem to go away because we are not educating enough people on the very root causes of this, which is the denial of Indigenous peoples' self-determination, the denial of our human rights, the denial of justice within a system that is created to dispossess us, within a system that denies our rights as human beings. So you as the voters, you as the constituents, you have heard today the work that's being done. But you have to push your politicians, you have to push those people who take an oath to their offices as professionals, like the lawyers, like the doctors, like the police officers, to also push for it within their own institutions. And we need to make changes, and we need to do it yesterday. And there's no political party that I can see that really wants to change. And how can they change in such a corrupt system? How can they change something when Indigenous people are viewed as less than legitimate to have our rights respected? Violence is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. Violence is because people fear what they do not know, because they don't feel good enough inside, and because they don't know any ways of expression. And so you need to teach your children how to express themselves in a peaceful and thoughtful way, in a respectful way. And we need to have that from the media. Don't just put us as the flash, a 3-second flash in the media, but educate your public. You have a responsibility as well as media. And for those of you who are mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, teachers, nurses, doctors, lawyers, whatever you are, make sure, as Melissa said, that this is the last year that we ask for an inquiry, that next year at this time, an inquiry will be done, led by the families who have been affected, led by Indigenous women, Indigenous peoples and their families, side by side with you. For those of you who seek justice, and real reconciliation, which involves restitution for those who have never had justice before. And I don't care about your constitution. Your constitution was done without our free, prior, and informed consent. And we are nations. And we shouldn't have to blockade roads to get your attention. We shouldn't have to do these vigils. It's a beautiful sunny day. We should be with our families. Life is not so long that we take advantage of a sunny day. We should be proud of who we are as human beings. And let's get justice for our missing and murdered women, no matter who you are, no matter what race they come from. But in particular, the Indigenous women upon whose nations are being attacked every single day by your policies, your government's policies, by your legislation, and by the racism that continues to plague us as human beings. And I want to thank everybody for coming here. I hope we have a good march, and elect somebody who's smart enough to see the real picture and who can work with you all to change this corrupt system that isn't going to change no matter who gets in. I appreciate you all for coming here. I love Mother Earth, and I love all our relations who have just as much right to live in a free and democratic world as we as human beings. So nyauko to the organizers, nyauko to all the prayers, and to you all. Nyauko sa Unisarate, and Sinizariohak. I hope you all have a good day and good march.
We want to do thank you to everyone who has agreed to speak. Start with the Center for Gender Advocacy, Missing Justice, and Quebec Native Women for organizing this march. We'd like to thank Occupy Montreal for the speaker system and the numerous volunteers that were involved. Before we start the march, we have a security marshals. Chad Diabo is coordinating it. He can be found here on the side. If you want to be a marshal for the march, he will give you a a badge with a paw on it to help keep everyone, safe.
Donc, vous pouvez vous préparer si vous voulez pour la marche. Et comme juste pour répéter ce qu'elle vient de dire en français, pour ceux qui ne comprennent pas nécessairement en anglais, on a quelqu'un qui s'occupe de la sécurité. Donc, on peut le retrouver juste ici, avec des espèces de pattes sur ses bras. Donc, si vous voulez aider pour la sécurité, vous pouvez aller le voir. Il va vous donner ces petits dossards pour les bras pour la marche. Donc, vous pouvez commencer à vous rassembler pour débuter la marche. Et merci beaucoup encore une fois d'être ici en si grand nombre. Juste à ajouter, ceux qui n'ont pas de pancarte et qui aimeraient emmener des pancartes avec eux, vous pouvez venir en chercher ici à l'avant. Vous allez pouvoir les laisser à l'arrivée. Donc, venez les chercher car on ne peut pas les rester ici. Donc, venez en prendre, ça va nous rendre encore plus visibles. Donc, venez chercher des pancartes à l'avant. La marche, ça prend de Marche Sainte-Catherine. For those who want to bring posters, you can come and get them in the front. We have to bring them. We cannot state them here. So you can come and pick some posters in the front, and you can leave them at the arrival. Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Don't take this. Keep it back. One towel.